Hello, everyone. Welcome to eGlass training. Visit our website at eglass.io/academy to download the Fusion software.
We're now recording in progress. So I'm here doing a little eGlass training for our friends at Richardson ISD. And I've been demonstrating how we use this with Zoom. What I'm going to do is turn off my camera as the Zoom camera and go into screen share mode and to launch the eGlass Fusion software, and you'll see the benefits of doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my video here, and I'm going to start a screen share. And what I'm going to do now is you'll see the eGlass Fusion software. It's a little link right up here. It's right in the middle of my page. I'm going to double click that and launch that. And then up it comes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way. That's the picture of you. I'm also going to hide my toolbar there. And I'm going to go ahead and just take a glass shot. That is a snapshot of what's on my screen. I'm going to just press the snap button. And while I do that, you'll see that if this had been an actual lesson, you would be able to go ahead and finish taking notes. So we were talking about the setup of eGlass and everything you need, while I erase on this side. So this is exactly how a teacher could use the product, right? So I might have, all of my equations or my work or my lesson could be on that left-hand side, and the live screen is on my right-hand side. And by the way, just using my mouse, because I have an external mouse here, I can go ahead and I can resize this window. And I can also use my mouse to zoom in and to zoom out. So there's a little X at the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and close that window. So what's different about the document camera software is our document camera software, like the Flex 11, it looks a lot like these tools that you see right down there. So you have a snapshot, you can record, and everything else. The big difference about eGlass Fusion is that it has some features that are in the right-hand tab. So if you look at this little tab right here, and you'll see these thumbnails pop out. So this is already some pre-populated content that I have that I can bring in, all with transparent backgrounds. So for example, here's a DNA strand. So I just clicked and I brought that in, and here's a mouse right here. I'm going to use my mouse wheel to enlarge that. I'm going to step off to the side here. And you'll see that it is transparent. So we've got, DNA. So I could go and be talking about the DNA. I can go ahead, take a snapshot of this. And then while you continue to take your notes over there, I'll go ahead and erase my markings here. So that was an example of bringing in, let's say, a graphic. But I could also, bring in text or worksheets. So let's see what I have here. So here's a worksheet right here. It's sentence diagramming. So I brought it in. It's a little bit small right now, so I'm going to go and enlarge it. And I can go ahead and minimize this to get this out of the way. So it's basically sentence diagramming. So I can go ahead and take my pen. I'm using the green pen right now. I could use a black one as well. I'll use whichever color looks good. So we know the subject is going to be girl. So that's the subject. Subject is girl. The verb is going to be sings. So that's the verb, is sings. And well is the adjective on this particular one. On the next one, we know the subject is the kangaroo. That's the subject. Red is the adverb. And hops is the verb. So it's just an example of how you could go and do your lesson. So once again, I'll go ahead and take a snapshot of this. For those of you who are still taking notes, you can take those notes. So once again, all the little content that I've imported already, it's over here, or I could go to a folder to bring some things in. What I wanted to do is to show you how to import some things. So for example, you see this little arrow button, the one that points like this into a bucket. If I click on that, that's your import media button. Okay, so that's what that button does. One of the things that I did is I went to Google and I Googled worksheets. Okay, great. So here's a worksheet. What I'm going to do is use my snippet command. What I want to do is make this transparent. So I'm going to use my snipping command right here to do a new snip. Let's snip this. We'll save this. And we'll save it in our pictures here. And I'll name it Richardson worksheet. And it's being saved as a PNG file. So now I have that saved there. So I'm going to go back to my eGlass software. And back in my eGlass software, I'm going to click here, import. So I click import. I'm going to find that picture here. I'm going to my pictures files. And here it is, Richardson worksheet. I double click. And you see right in the middle of there, it says convert to transparent image. So I'm going to click yes. So I've clicked yes. And this should be, now I'm going to just click on this and drag it right on in. And you see how I was able to bring this content into my eGlass software and have it be transparent. Lydia, did you follow that?
Yes, and I was able to experiment some with that as well. Okay. And that's pretty cool. But that was kind of when I was going, back and forth between different types of imports and stuff. I am glad you showed that though, because it did take me a minute when I was doing it to import, but I like that it changes so that it becomes see-through.
Right. And that's basically how you do it. And I guess if I were an instructor, I would gather all of this content into one folder. So it was easily accessible to me, perhaps by day, by subject, by class. However I wanted to organize it.
Yeah, and if you're working with like a PLC, y'all could share the folder, and then that way everyone's using similar materials.
Yeah, so typically that's using this import button. There's another way to bring content in. So in the case of PDFs, and PowerPoints, for PowerPoints, we don't use the import button there at all. No, we'll use our file manager. So I'm going to click down here on Windows. I'm going to open up some documents. And here I have a couple of PowerPoints. So again, PowerPoint, I'm just going to drag and drop it right into my eGlass software. So have a look at this. There's one here called Pythagoras. It's about the Pythagorean theorem. So I'm clicking, I'm dragging it right into my eGlass window. And I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And now you see we have the Pythagorean theorem. The key point being up here, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The other thing is that if you look down here, the arrows, those are the arrows I would typically use in PowerPoint, to advance my slide. So let me go ahead and click. And you'll see, there is an explanation about what the Pythagorean theorem is. And I'll go ahead, and basically, we know that the theorem is taking this triangle, it's a right triangle with sides A, B, and C. And we know then that a squared plus b squared equals C squared. Now, since this was to demonstrate PowerPoint, instead of me doing that, I can just go ahead and advance the slides. So that's there. Once again, I could use my mouse to enlarge that and so forth. Now, we talked earlier about digital ink. So there are times, I have my marker ink. So we know that 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared, right? And we could go ahead and solve that. We have a digital inking tool with the eGlass Fusion software as well. That's in the shape of this little deer icon. So if you clicked on that, you could get some annotation tools. So I have my mouse. So basically I could know that 5 squared is 25. And I could use my mouse to do that, but using a mouse is hard. So we talked about, I could either have a touchscreen computer, I might have a little Wacom tablet, or if you were in an in-class environment, you could use your inking tools on your interactive board. So I think you're seeing, I've got a class camera there on the screen. So if I came over here, I know that 5 squared is 25, and 12 squared, I believe it's 144, equals 13 squared. So I'm combining in this case, digital ink, and marker ink. It just gives your teachers some more instruction and capabilities, whatever they're interested in. Okay, and any questions about that?
Oh, interesting stuff.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Yeah.
There's probably a couple more quick things to show you. One is, the other thing is I have a document camera hooked up here. And sometimes I'm asked by teachers, hey, can I still use my hover cam? Or can I still use my document camera? In your case, because I don't think you're using ours. So in our software, I'm going to go here to our view options, which is right down there. So I'm going to go there and click, and we have picture in picture, PIP. So there it is, picture in picture. And I'm able to display quite a large area.
I like that a lot. Can you shrink the picture-in-picture window down smaller?
Yes, so
or is
basically,
that the size that it always is?
Exactly. So this is a new feature in our HoverCam software, by the way, for those who are HoverCam camera users. So I'm going to use my mouse and I'm going to grab the window right in the corner there. And then I can go ahead and resize that window. So I find that and I can resize it and I can move this window around. So I do have some capability there. And again, with optimization, we could decide, what part of the desk to show. So it ends up, what I've done is, if this were a side view, I have eGlasses here. And there's that little stand. And it's on a table. And the table, has legs and it has wheels. And there's a little camera arm that comes out there about 20 inches, and the camera comes up there. So, and this is me. I'm standing, or I could be sitting, but I'm standing today. Again, these are kind of side views. So what I've done is there's almost, it's almost like a little ceiling that's on there. And that's there for a reason that'll become apparent in a second. And what I've done is I've placed my document camera on top of that. And so the document camera is here and it's kind of pointing down. And I think you saw that in my setup over there. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I could also zoom in a bit. And I can zoom out.
Document camera itself and still put the picture in picture here. So I do
you could
like
even, look, it's very easy to manipulate this. And I could even put books, I could put books underneath it as well.
And that's your Solo 8
That's our Solo 8 Plus.
Plus.
Highly recommended. That's the one. Yeah. Although, and then there is that one's about $369. Arlington, bought 4,000 of them this summer or last year.
Very nice.
So, and I mean, it's a very popular product in Texas. So
if we did the eGlass and the document camera, would teachers need both the Flex 11 and the eFusion software? Or
no,
would
because you could
cover both?
No, you could just use your document camera software. In fact, yes, what you would do then is I think what you could try to do, and let me just try this as a matter of fact. And you may lose me for a minute here, but what I'm going to do is in the settings, let's say that I wanted the main camera to be the Solo 8 Plus. So I'm going to select Solo 8 Plus as my main camera, and the auxiliary camera I'm going to do is the eGlass. Okay, and I'll set this maybe at 720p. I'm going to hit save. Now, this is going to change some things up here. Great. So now this is my document camera software. And so it's my full document camera software. So if I were doing a lesson with my document camera only, I could just use this. And right. So now I could do all my document camera stuff.
And if you were to go back into your picture-in-picture, then your face would be the smaller one.
And my face would show up, which
Perfect.
is a powerful way of using a document camera for Zoom. So right now, there's a lot of teachers that just use our Solo 8 Plus with their Zoom sessions, right? Because then you can just do right here. Go to View Option, PIP. The other thing is I could have eGlass here, or even I could just use my webcam. But if it's eGlass, then I could actually do my lessons. And if I were online, I could do it this way and make them really dramatic.
Well, Craig, one other thing. So if you write on the whiteboard behind you, will it be reversed?
Yes.
Just for fun.
But what I would do is I would use this whiteboard here. I'll get out of this. I would go to this whiteboard in our software, and I could do whiteboarding here like I did earlier, or I could go to the big screen. And the other thing is, and especially Lydia, if you would think about this, it's great for online use. It's great for recording flip videos. You could see how a math teacher could use it, and other subjects. So I hope maybe you could experiment and have a couple of different subject areas, give it a try.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like it. I want it to like, I want things to work out. I really do like this, but I just, had some questions. And like I said, with the two different softwares, and we wanted to see the document camera. And then of course, when you're mixed environments, I can go to one set of teachers and say, here are your tools, but then I got to understand the other set of tools as well, because they are different on a Mac and a PC. And so I've got to make sure that when we train teachers, they know exactly what they have at their disposal. So that was really what I was looking at too here. But no, I like the eGlass. I'm a fan.
Exactly. Well, here's another trick for you. Take a look at, I've got a web browser open. It's the Wikipedia. And I've just gone and I've highlighted, this is on the water cycle, and I've highlighted some text there. So I'm just clicking on it and I'm dragging it right into eGlass. So you see how all the text comes in as transparent. Let me go ahead and minimize this screen. So this is all transparent, and I can resize it and reshape it and get that nice and large. So now I could go ahead and be highlighting things and working with it. So that's bringing in text. You can imagine a reading teacher, using this maybe for some lessons, and so forth. The other thing I can do is not just bring in text. I could go ahead and bring in, let's say, some images. So once again, going back to the Wikipedia, here's an image of the water cycle. I'm clicking on that. I'm dragging it on over. Here it is in there. I can go ahead and enlarge it. And now I can start using my pens, to mark it up. So here, here's the rain falling in Texas over there. And out here are the big hurricanes coming into Galveston.
And you're in California and there's the desert.
Yeah, exactly. And the lack of water. And but we're near the ocean.
Feel free to come get some of ours. It has rained.
Right. Oh. Good. All right. Any more quick questions for today?
No, I'm
good.
That's cool.
Good. Well, thank you. We appreciate you using it, and we'll be in touch.
Hi, thank you, Craig. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us for another eGlass training. Learn more about eGlass on our website at eglass.io.